Hey, what's going on, everyone? My name is Matt Jarbo. You're watching the MundaneChats channel, and this is Weird, Wild, and What the Fuck for the 16th of October, 2017. And if I had to describe the three stories I'm going to share with you today, they all would pretty much fall under the WTF category, especially the one with Marvel Comics. Like, really, guys? Is this is how far you want to sink right now? Trust me, it's not about what you might think. But that being said, Halloween is only 15 days away, right? The best day of the year if you're an adult, your Christmas, if you want to dress up and go out there and have an excuse to get drunk, is just 2 weeks away. And as every Halloween tends to go, there's always going to be some form of controversy over a particular costume. Given everything that's happened in Hollywood over the course of the past couple weeks, I would assume that Harvey Weinstein is going to be probably your number one most controversial costume coming out this year. But I might actually be wrong. If you are able to get your hands on this particular costume, then you could be the talk of your town, and that would be the Anne Frank costume that's being sold for Halloween. Yep. Some retailers are selling Anne Frank Halloween costumes, and people are appalled. Really? You're appalled at Anne Frank? You're appalled at an Anne Frank costume? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me, to be honest with you. Is it in poor taste? Yeah, sure, maybe, but Anne Frank is as much of a pop culture icon as Harley Quinn or Batman in some respects. I mean, if you think about it from just the aspect of who Anne Frank was and how much she's been part of our lives ever since her diary made it into almost like required reading of elementary students, you know that everyone out there knows who she is. So why wouldn't there be a costume of her? I'm not saying that it's good. I'm just saying it makes sense as to why there would be. And some people are upset because they look at this as being distasteful. You know, the Anne Frank Center is not too pleased. But then again, they're not too pleased about a lot of things, especially uncensoring those passages from her diary that show her blossoming into womanhood and why it's essential to her story. But, you know, hey, look, let's just keep that one to ourselves, right? We don't want to scare the children with talking about the pubes. Right, that's a big thing. But the costume itself is very simple. I mean, you don't even know that it's Anne Frank. They say that it's Anne Frank. You could pretty much guess it's like, you know, Matilda or something. It could be anything. It could be a little French Paris girl is what the costume could be. Ultimately, it's not much. Now, the tag, that might be something. If she had the giant Star of David on there, then I could probably agree. But yeah, people are pretty upset about this, and they've reached out to Ross Walker Smith, who is a PR specialist for HalloweenCostumes.com. When he was asked here, Ross, what's all this about? He responds back by saying, "Thank you for reaching out. We sell costumes not only for Halloween, but for many uses outside of the Halloween season, such as school projects and plays. We offer several types of historically accurate costumes, from prominent figures to political figures to television characters. We take feedback from our customers very seriously. We have passed along the feedback regarding this costume, and it has been removed from the website at this time. We apologize for any offense it has caused, and that was never our intention. If you have any additional questions or concerns, please let us know." I mean, I get their response. People are upset. Oh my God, you're selling the Anne Frank costume. No. It's not like it's a recent tragedy. It's not like they're selling Las Vegas shooter Steve Paddock costumes or anything. That is entirely in poor taste. I look at something like this too. It's like if they're selling it for not just Halloween and they're selling it because maybe school props or plays or things like that, then they shouldn't take it down. And all things considered, this will probably be relisted November 1st once it's no longer going to run the risk of becoming a controversy. But at the same time, we have to ask ourselves, why are we getting so upset over this? Why are you, if you are a person who's upset over this? Anne Frank didn't have the best life, but her legacy lived on. And if somebody wants to, you know, commemorate that by dressing up as her for a costume, is that really that big of a deal? As I pointed out, it's not like they're treating it like Stephen Paddock. It's not like they're gonna, you know, walk around and like have her like all ashy from like the gas chamber and whatnot at, you know, at Auschwitz, if that's where she went. I don't remember. But I'm using an extreme point to kind of put out my point, is that this is really a non-issue that people are getting super upset over. And while I understand that the company pulls it, you know, you're going to find some knockoff company that's going to come across this. They're going to look at the fact that they pulled the Anne Frank costume, that people are appalled, which therefore on the other side of the coin makes that some people more enticed to purchase it. And we might start seeing a whole slew of adult Anne Frank costumes popping up on eBay. which I think in that particular case, that's a bit distasteful because she never made it to being an adult. So yeah, there's that. All right, allow me to pause for just a moment. If you guys like the channel and you guys want to help support it through the rest of 2017 and into 2018 and beyond, one of the best ways to do that is to head over to amazon.com/shop/MundaneMat and check out my store. This is a curated list of products that I personally use in my video creation and in my personal life. And if you guys want to help out the channel, check it out. Buy anything through that link, and I do get a bit of the profits. It's not a great deal, but it's enough to help keep the lights on and keep videos coming. So thanks. All right, jumping over into politics, and I know you guys are gonna hate me for this one, but that's okay. I want to talk about this. We're like 10 months, 9-10 months into Trump's presidency, and things have been rocky to say the least. Whether you are a supporter or you are a detractor, I think it's fair to say it's been a little bit crazy. Right? Controversy, scandals, everything happening so fast all the time. You can't quite keep your head on, right? Makes it difficult. But Trump is nothing if not a showman. But when asked about running again in 2020 and Hillary Clinton possibly running again, well, this is what he had to say. I hope so. Trump wants a rematch in 2020 with Hillary Clinton. Saying here on Twitter, I was recently asked if crooked Hillary Clinton is going to run in 2020. My answer was, I hope so. Of course he wants her to run again. Of course he wants her to run again. If she runs again and they go neck and neck again, he thinks she's going to lose. He thinks he'll win because his base will show up and elect him once again. That's what he thinks. I am not joking when I say that won't happen again. Right? That won't happen again. Now, you could sit there and disagree with me, and that's totally fine. But I think for a second, we need to stop and think about what caused Hillary the election. There were a number of factors involved, but one of the key things was she didn't campaign in Michigan or Wisconsin. Right now, like Paul Ryan, for example, in Wisconsin has a low approval rating. I've talked to people from Wisconsin that have told me that even the Republican Party in Wisconsin is not going to back him again for re-election next year. Like that Paul Ryan is effectively out. So a lot of the I guess you could say the GOP institutions in this country in certain states are going to be swinging. Okay, that's probably what's going to happen. So Trump running against Hillary again, it's probably not going to work. And the emails and the Podesta stuff and anything with Pizzagate or whatever, you've already played your hand on that. You can't sit there and chant lock her up again 4 years later when you were the president for 4 years and you never locked her up. You never got, your attorney general or your FBI or your CIA or your national security agency to investigate this to the point of where you have something to charge, indict, and convict. If that hasn't happened, by the time she's getting ready to run, then you've got nothing. Those arguments mean nothing. Now, at the same time, his true base won't care. They'll chant lock her up. They're still chanting it when he goes to these rallies. So it's not going to matter in that regard, but we're still talking about the game of the Electoral College. And the Electoral College can be played if done correctly. And, well, you did it once, but the likelihood of it happening again, very small. This is what Trump has to realize. Trump is president. Sometimes I don't think he fully understands that. I really don't think he fully understands that. He doesn't grasp what it means to be president. I think he loves the idea of it, but he doesn't actually like the job. And so if he wants to win again, he has to actually make himself be the president. He has to be presidential. It can't just be firing off these tweets. And the reason why I say that too is because also Twitter is a dying platform. We know this. There's been stalled growth. Yeah, he might have 35 million fans on there, followers on there, but that doesn't really mean anything. Twitter has horrible click-through links, everything else. Like it's kind of a garbage platform at times. Never mind the fact that I have, follow me on Twitter down over there. It is a good way to communicate with people. But when it comes to what I believe the power that he feels he has on there is not as powerful as it seems. All it would take for him to tweet and then the media to not talk about it, and it would basically just remove that power entirely. But Trump wanting Hillary to run again in 2020, I don't think will end well for him. Because if that does happen, and I do not think that it will in the slightest, by the way, just want to make that clear. I don't think it's going to happen. Hillary has said she doesn't want to run. No one on the Democrats want her to run. You know, you can sit there and go back and say hindsight is 2020. If I had the chance to do it all over again, this is what I would do differently. No, there's no trust there. People just don't like her. It's just not going to happen. And so as a result of that, it probably won't happen. But at the same time, I have mentioned this before, it is my fear that Hillary is going to start trying like almost like an Obama grassroots scenario to get herself back in position to run again in 2020. And the reason why I say this is because she's already talking about next year getting, hitting the ground running and starting to campaign for certain candidates in certain districts or senators in certain states that are up for re-election, or so on and so forth. And if she can actually build that up, which I don't think will happen the way she wants, but it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility. Then she could sit there and say, "Oh, I'm the underdog candidate, right? I'm 0-2 right now. Okay. Third time's the charm." She could play that angle and actually campaign in those states. And she won the popular vote. And if that vote could be, I think what they boiled it down to 77,000 votes, right? And we are, it's just, I'm telling you, I don't think it's going to happen, but at the same time, Trump, don't poke the damn bear on this one. Just don't poke the damn bear. And finally today, guys, we're going to be talking about Marvel Comics. Now, I mentioned them earlier on, and I said they did something horrifically stupid, which they have. This has nothing to do, however, with social justice comics, any kind of horrible writing or bad editing. This has everything to do with a crappy legal team trying to enforce the trademark for Thor by going after an apple cider farmer. Saying here, Marvel Comics sets lawyers on Thor's hard cider. Saying that Marvel Comics are claiming trademark on the ancient Norse god, even when it comes to the brewing of fermented apples. Now, this particular apple farm started 69 years ago. Their website claims that the creator was a bit of a dreamer and always looking for ways to make the orchard better, different, and more fun. And Thor's hard cider is in that tradition, with Christopher and Andreas Admont as the master brewers behind the cider. And if you head over to the website, you can see that Thor's hard cider will be available at the Apple Farm 7 days a week from 10 to 6, and this is located in Minnesota. Now, Marvel dropped the ball pretty damn hard here. This particular company has been around for nearly 7 decades. I do believe that's longer than Thor itself has been around. And I know Marvel wants to protect its copyright. I know Marvel wants to protect its property and all that jazz. And with Thor Ragnarok coming out, they want to make sure that they're the only game in town that can say the word Thor, but it doesn't work that way. Thor's hard cider is not based on the Norse god. It's not based on the god of thunder. It is based on Thor, the creator of the apple farm, the guy who started the company 70 years ago. And I do not think this will be able to hold up in court at all. But that being said, Marvel will in fact have the means to back it up in terms that they want to drag out this lawsuit, which is unfortunate, which I really hope they don't do. I hope they look at this and I hope they drop it, because this is dumb. No one's going to sit there and look at Thor's hard cider. No one's going to sit there and look at Thor's hard cider and go, "Oh yeah, this is the god of thunder. Oh yeah. Oh yeah." No one's going to think that at all. No one's going to care, right? They're going to be like, "Oh yeah, one is Chris Hemsworth. The other is something I drink to get drunk," which, if you're not watching a Thor movie, generally is how you watch a Chris Hemsworth movie. So yeah, I just get so frustrated reading the story, because Marvel is just, doing what all these major companies do. And let's be realistic here. It's not just Marvel. This is Disney. This is Disney who has absolutely destroyed public domain. It has destroyed copyright laws over years, trying to do everything it can to take away from fair use, to take away from transformative work, so on and so forth. That this is what their legal team has been transformed into. Just another bully for another corporate. And this just goes to show you what their legal team has been turned into. Just another corporate bully for a corporate overlord trying to knock the little dude that's been around for 70 years and has done nothing wrong. So hashtag free Thor's hard cider. I don't think that's going to trend, but you guys get my point. All right, guys, that wraps up today's episode of Weird, Wild, and What the Fuck for the 16th of October, 2016. If you guys want to help support the channel, links below in the video description. If you want to comment below, that'd be fantastic. If you have any interesting stories you want to submit yourself, you can hit me up on Facebook or Twitter or mundanematt.com/submit, stuff I can use in future episodes. All the stories today were actually fan submitted, so thank you guys very much for helping me out doing my job. I do appreciate it. I'll talk to you guys later. Have yourself a fantastic day, and peace out.
Hey guys, that wraps up this video. If you'd like to leave a comment, please do so below. I love to read your guys' input. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button. It really does help me in the YouTube algorithm. If you want to support the channel, there's the Amazon affiliate store, there's PayPal, there's Patreon, there's Bitcoin. And if you're bored and you want something else to watch, check out 3 Buck Theater up here. My name is Matt Jarbo. I will talk to you guys later. Have yourself a wonderful day. Peace out.